Hey everyone, welcome to the cave. This is part 2 of my video on replacing the pots on a Crate V series amplifier. This one's a V3112T, or the V30 as it's otherwise known. In the first part I talked about the pots themselves and how they needed to be replaced and which ones to get. And so now I've done the mod. I've completely removed all of the existing pots and have replaced them. And as you can see here, it's all reassembled and back together. And basically you can see what I've done here. It's just replace the pot. So got the wires, and the wires are, because I've turned the pots upside down, the wires sort of cross. You need to reverse those in order to make the pots work in the correct direction. And this is one of the old pots again. The problem was with the collar and the knob shaft size being non-standard 4mm. So everything's nice and back together, and you can sort of see what I've done there with the pots all put back into place. Nicely wired up. Pretty simple to do, not very difficult at all. And on the front side, show you the front side looks like as well. And you can see that the holes I drilled for the little pin that's attached to the pot to lock it into place to prevent it from spinning, those worked out really nicely as well. And everything's done, ready to go. And my my lovely silver finish chicken heads knobs will go on nice and easily now, and they'll fit perfectly on there. The other thing that I did while I was in here, and this is something that's completely optional, but the chassis mount PCB mount screws, if you can see there, they're actually a slot, so the board will actually move up and down depending on where you position it. Now when the other pots are in there, that kind of limits you as to the how much you can move it. It pretty much just needs to lock right up against the edge of the chassis, and the pins kind of hold it into place. But now that there's wires connecting, it's kind of a loose fit, or a looser fit anyways, and it'll slide around. So what I did is I actually pulled it back just a little bit so that the switches, basically when they're depressed, they sort of sit right flush with the chassis. The reason I did that is to allow clearance for those chicken head knobs, because they actually will pass over top of those switches. So if those switches are sitting up too high, it's going to bump into the knob. Well, you can pull the knob back and mount it up a little higher, but it's easier if they sit right down as far as they'll go on the shaft. So that's another little thing that I've done, and that's it. So that's done, and it works great already. The knobs are nice and quiet sounding, no more crackle noises. Everything has worked out really well with this mod. It's pretty easy to do, but once again, as I described in part 1, the key is just to buy sort of pretty ordinary off-the-shelf solder lug 16mm pots with a 15mm length shaft, and then just use wires to connect those to the holes where the PCB mount pots used to be. That's it. Thanks for watching.